What's happening, everybody? Today I'm on day 5 of new decks every day with Cosmic Creations, at least for a week, at least for 7 days. I brought you a bunch of different decks: Viktor Invoke, Daybreak and Dragons with Grand Plaza. I think 2 different Riven decks. So we're gonna come back and go back to Viktor today. I'm gonna try a little Viktor Heimer action. I'm notorious for hating Heimer, hating playing against Heimer, hating playing as Heimer, but wanted to give it a shot. He's pretty funny with Viktor. There's a lot of synergy there. So I'm going to talk through the deck, talk about some mulligan choices, talk a little bit about win conditions, things like that, and dive into a few different aspects of it like I've been doing this whole week. But as always, guys, make sure to comment below for the giveaway. We're giving away a sweet mouse pad with Raven on it with our logo as well. We'll be pulling that name on the 24th, so you can comment to win that. Like, subscribe, do all those sweet things, and let's jump over here to the live scene. Okay, so we have Viktor and Heimer. That's our 2 champions, running 3 of each, and we're rocking it with Targon. I feel like there's a few different options here for your second region. I think Targon's a pretty good one, but you definitely could go with Ionia for some more stall, and even Noxus for a few different cards in there as well. I think their landmark removal is pretty good in Noxus. They also have some good spells, but I'm going to stick with Targon for now, and this is sort of an elusive deck. So, it's control with a lot of removal, and then really some elusiveness with the Neandroid and ideally Viktor. And then obviously if you play any 6-cost spells, which you might not, we're not running any naturally, but you can get them from other sources. But mainly gems and Neandroid are pretty absurd, so we don't have a ton of gem generation, but we do have Mountain Goat, at least as our 2-drop. He's pretty solid against Fearsome, so you have a high attack blocker and just a good blocker in general, who will get you a little bit of value back. You have the Ballistic Bot as well at 2 cost, so we're running the Ballistic Bot and the Neandroid. Then at 3 as well, we put in the Solari Priestess. She's a flex spot for right now, but she is very flexible in general because you can get pretty much anything, get a solid unit out of it, but you can also get a 6-cost spell, which will feed the elusiveness that Heimerdinger will bring. Or you can just get any other spell that will also feed that. But in general, it's a created card for Viktor to level up. Running 3 Aftershock because the Grand Plaza meta is a real thing. 2 Bastion for protection on both our champions, and then just both our champions. So we have a lot of card generation. Spell Thief, we're trying to get some good created card options so we can actually level up Viktor. And we can do that obviously with Spell Thief, obviously with Ballistic Bot, with Iterative Improvement, with the Mountain Goat, with Flash of Brilliance, because Flash of Brilliance is actually with Heimerdinger out, so all of his turrets will be created cards, which is very important. And they will cost 1 less. That doesn't matter because they're going to cost 0 anyway when Viktor levels up, but the other created cards will. They're mainly actually for leveling up Viktor. When you play a bunch of turrets, you can level up Viktor very quickly. So you're not trying to level him up like super early on curve or anything, but a little bit later in the game, you can level him up pretty safely. And then, a funny combination even is Flash of Brilliance on turn, when you have Heimerdinger out, essentially you get a created card, but if you have Heimerdinger, you get a second created card. So you can really level Viktor up pretty quickly. You're using plenty of removal just to keep their board clear with Thermo, with Mystic Shot. Get excited, it's fine when you have a lot of hand generation, get excited. Being able to discard Viktor's augmented Hex Core upgrade that he gets, or even the Ignition that you get from this. There's a lot of good options for discard there, so pretty solid card in general. And that's kind of the game plan. So just kind of stabilize the board early, try to blast off enemy units with all of your removal spells, build up a little bit of a protection bubble, get Heimerdinger down, start ramping out turrets, get Viktor down, let him escalate to a pretty ridiculous standpoint, and then go from there. That's the win condition, really mostly with elusive damage, or just overwhelming them with turrets. On top of that, for mulligans and such, you're just kind of really looking for Ballistic Bot, Mountain Goat, Neandroid, all solid keeps. Thermogenic Beam's probably the best keep in the game, just because you can use it for any turn for a solid removal, which is really good. If you're playing against Grand Plaza, you probably want to keep Aftershock. And if you have 1 or 2 1-drops, you can consider keeping a Viktor. You probably don't want to keep Heimerdinger unless you really have a decent early curve. You don't really want Spell Thief or Iterative Improvement. Spell Thief gets better the later you go into the game in most cases. Some cases that's not true, but in most cases that's solid. And that's pretty much it. Super fun deck, like I said. Heimer is, a champion I'm not a huge fan of in general, but it is pretty fun to pilot every once in a while, and Viktor is super flexible, a lot of ways to play him. So this is the same region combinations as before, but obviously this is vastly different. I did a Viktor Invoke deck, which was literally just 3 Viktor cards, Zoe, and then all Targon cards, so it was mono Targon, just with Viktor Splash. This is a significantly different, a whole different game plan that we're going with. And it's super fun. I mean, it really is. It's a very fun deck. As far as matchups go, Grand Plaza's okay. You know, you can Aftershock the Grand Plaza, but you don't get a ton of value when they play it on 3 and then you just blow it up right away. You're kind of at a stalemate, so you need to get Victor or Heimerdinger online and build your board. But the Challenger can really hurt the Neandroid and your other elusive units and things, so it's not always the best matchup. You have some chance at survival from it, though. You know, other elusives you're pretty good into. You have a lot of removal, so you can really just blast down their elusive units, which is super nice. Fearsomes you're pretty decent into as well, because you can get decently high attack units. As soon as, you know, 1 gem plus a Neandroid is a 3 attack unit. The Goat's already a 3 attack unit. Ballistic Bot can get there quick, so you have a lot of ways to remove their units. And you have direct removal for their Callista and things like that. And then that's really, I've been playing Fearsome, I've been playing Grand Plaza a lot. Some elusive list, kind of like random Zoe list or Teemo list, and you're pretty good into all that. Yeah, that's mainly what I've been seeing lately. You know, Go Hard is still there. Go Hard's not the worst matchup either. I mean, they do have a decent amount of removal, but you can kind of just blast some stuff off. You know, definitely kill TF right away, which is always good. And, you know, try to keep them from not being able to draw a ton and then push damage through later. But, you know, it's up in the air. So it's got an okay matchup table. Definitely not the most confident in the matchup table overall, but it's still a pretty fun deck overall. So I'll play one game in normals with it real quick just for giggles. Talk you through some decision making. We'll see how it goes. I just upload this data just raw anyway. So, yeah, it should be pretty fun. And, you know, we'll see how it goes. All right, so we got a Freljord Victor Jinx. Interesting. All right, so they might be doing like a Hex Core Foundry type thing, so they can get a lot of card draw. So we might keep an Aftershock. Definitely don't want to keep a Get Excited or 2 Aftershocks. But Aftershock's good for Jinx removal as well. So we'll keep both. A Ballistic Bot obviously is a great keep, and an Aftershock. Not the best hand that we've ever had, but, you know, we'll go with it. Alright, he's going with some aggro. Kind of just have to accept this. He didn't attack. Interesting. You gotta hit him with the hunt, guys. You gotta stay on top of your emotes. Alright, so he's got plenty of those. We'll still send this out if he wants to block with the 2-3. It's kind of whatever. Get the gem out. Now, ideally, we don't have a ton of healing in this deck unless we get something from Flash, so we do want to build up, you know, some elusive blockers at some point. I mean, obviously, it's definitely a Poro deck to a degree if he's running Poro Herder, so. Say we're on turn 2, so we'll just play Ballistic Bot. Again, like I said, Gems with Augment is pretty absurd, because you get +2 attack, but we don't necessarily want to put it on this unit right now. We might at some point. Alright, so we'll play a second Ballistic Bot first. Do that before we use Ignition. So Ignition will give them both +1 attack. Wow, that's an early Aurora Borealis. So he's got nothing else on the turn, so we can do that. Now, Gem's an interesting choice. I think I want to save the 3 mana. It's pretty important when you're playing Heimer. If you have Flash of Brilliance, you know, save 3 mana, so when you play Heimer on 5, you can then also play Flash of Brilliance on the same turn. Wow, I don't know why he's blocking with an elusive unit, but he is. Might be what you get when you play a normal game, but maybe it's 500 IQ, I don't know. So we can play Heimer, we can play Flash of Brilliance, and then it'll refill our spell mana, and then we can still use both Ignitions to build the board up, which is solid. Iterative Improvement's great. It might be something we have to end up playing on an elusive unit of theirs. It's just a really flexible card because you can pick your opponent's followers as well. So a card in general is just really solid. I've been really enjoying playing with that. I think he pitched a Poro Fly with that. He did, so he's got 2 elusive units. So we might take like 6 damage. Now we could have iteratived to be able to play 1, but I'm not that worried about taking a little bit of damage right this second. I think we can put more pressure on the offense on our next turn. So we got to give it all, which is kind of funny. Yeah, Flash of Brilliance gives you some pretty weird stuff sometimes. But alright, so we take 6. Alright, so we will definitely double Ignition. Good synergy here as well, as you can see. So I'm playing an Ignition, which I got from Ballistic Bot, which is a created card, which is giving me a 0-cost bot, which is a created card. So you can see Victor's going to be at 7. 7 out of 8, just because I did that. And if I wanted to, I could play a gem over here and easily get him even higher. So you can clearly build your Victor very easily. 2 level, I mean, sorry, he's at 6 out of 8, not 7. But 2 ignitions puts him there. So we will most likely be playing Victor very shortly here. But we do need to survive. I do believe he has to block at least one of these 7-2s here. So we'll send them both, try to put the pressure on. Alright, so he's going for the kill on Heimer with the Prismatic Get Excited. So we'll protect Heimer. Heimer's pretty valuable still. That does put us out of range for using Victor this turn, but I think that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. You know, we're trading the 2 ballistic bots. They kind of did their job already. You know, would have been, we could have gemmed one there and sent. He does have a poorer stack showing, so it wouldn't have really mattered. It was my thinking there. And mainly, I just need to get his elusives off the board. I will rebuild a board. Heimerdinger is an endless value machine, so my board will eventually get rebuilt to something good. So we'll play a 4-1 Overwhelm. Quick attack, poor robot, interesting. Something kind of cool with Iterative Improvement too is with the bots, the turrets that you're making, it's actually pretty hilarious because you could just copy an elusive one if you do get a 6-cost spell, but you could also just copy a you know, Overwhelm 1, Fearsome 1, whatever you want to copy with it. It's really solid. Or if you have multiple Heimers and you end up using a Progress Day, you can copy one of those, and pretty dang good. So we're just going to end round here. We're feeling okay. He's got at least a couple damage coming through. That's good removal. I probably want to play Victor here, leveled. So I think I'm just going to kill his elusive unit with that first. He hasn't played Hex Core or anything like that yet, so we don't need it for landmark removal. Mainly, we just want to get the elusive unit off the board. We can just block quick attack with endless amounts of little bots. Alright, so I think Victor's a solid play here. He's going to be leveled, which is pretty good. Probably one of my favorite animations they've done as far as level up animations go. That one's pretty insane. And we definitely want to play the Overwhelm unit over that. We leveled up Heimer, so definitely we're doing the work here. Everything's leveling up. And now gems cost 0, which is nice. Give It All costs 1 less, which is pretty cool. Now Give It All would be interesting. It would make everything would be a 4-5 with Overwhelm and Fearsome. Seems probably like our best option. But what we'll do is we'll play a Hex Core first for free. Not really worried about open attacking. If this gives him something, it just gave him Fearsome, so it didn't really matter in that sense. But it could have been funny if it did give him something with Give It All. But we actually like the Challenger bot better than the 1-1 for sure. Now I can give everything Challenger with Give It All, so that's pretty hilarious. What is out here? Oh, sorry, I forgot he actually was leveling. Alright, so he got regeneration, so we don't really care about that. So we're going to make him even higher. So Augment and a Gem is +2 attack, so he'll be an 8 attack. And then we will do a Give It All. We don't care about this other Challenger bot. So if this goes through, everything will be Fearsome, Challenger, Overwhelm, and Augment. I believe they would all get that too. Which I guess I technically could have waited to put the gem out. But this makes everything a 9. And 9-5. They share Augment too. So I don't think there's any way he comes back from this. It's pretty absurd. So we'll pull out pretty much everything, right? Doesn't really matter at that point. So yeah, Give It All is not the purpose of the deck, but it will obviously work. when you have all the different turrets. So maybe I should put one of those in the deck. But yeah, obviously there's other flex spots in the deck where we could definitely move some things around and try some things out. But it's a really fun deck overall. Does a lot of different things, pretty flexible. And like I said, maybe a Give It All belongs in there, or an 8-cost spell. You know, maybe I would drop probably one Solari Priestess. She's kind of on the edge already, like I was saying earlier. And there's definitely other cards. You can put more gem generation in here if you want as well. Even a Shards of the Mountain is an interesting card, wherever that is, 4 cost. Just fill your hand with gems. It really helps with the, especially at Victor's level, all those gems will be free. But this isn't full-blown Neandroid style deck. This is more of just kind of a flexible Heimerdinger deck. But I think the one Give It All, definitely worth it just for how many different keywords you have from Heimerdinger. And obviously Flash of Brilliance can give you some crazy wonky stuff. But that's pretty much the deck, guys. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget, just leave a like, leave a comment, and catch us next time. We'll be making content constantly. Listen to our last podcast episode. We had Sean Main, the guy who designed all of Set 3, including these new cards. So check that out for sure. And until next time, bye.